I refer minority leader Afenyo Markin to the privileges committee. Now, I think sir, this is the second time in almost a year. Yeah, Afenyo Markin, yeah, referring to the privileges committee. The last time out, no, ECOWAS Parliament be able to afford a copy of Nigeria. Now, in less than 12 months. Afenyo Markin, yasa referring to the privileges committee. I was for a ban saying we a security service recruitment na Akoto. Interior Minister Honorable Muntaka and a kopushi for sa you can say move na say speaker otena gbam banana here for honorable what granted amasi America say minority leader Afenyo Markin referring to the privileges committee. So the medical there to Jano. Speaker, I refer minority leader Afenyo Markin to the privileges committee in parliament. Therefore, almost person be investigation be about and send Afenyo Markin editor about security service recruitment when it comes to immigration, military, police service, and stuff like that. Interior Minister Honorable Muntaka copy of parliament and now on the pushing for some move no. But video Obama bechiromu Afenyo Markin way last week Thursday. Afenyo Markin kasim way. Assembly Anna are getting into trouble. The
current ongoing recruitment by the Ghana Immigration Services, Ghana Prison Service, Ghana National Fire Service, and the police. Mr. Speaker, the methodology has changed. What we have been told and have become aware is that, Mr. Speaker, the entire process is now centralized at the Ministry of Interior. A private software developer by name TróubleNet has been tasked to create a data collection platform which is empowered to run process through the use of AI-generated aptitude examination with minimal visible involvement of institutional leadership of the affected services. So, Mr. Speaker, to explain, this AI-generated platform being operated by the TróubleNet software developer does not involve the police, immigration, prisons, and fire. So, Mr. Speaker, what it is that a person who is supposed to do an aptitude test does not answer questions in the area where he's applying. There is a software which is a centralized platform. And Mr. Speaker, that is posing a difficulty, especially when none of the security chiefs and their management is involved. Mr. Speaker, let me give some numbers. What it is that, Mr. Speaker, it is becoming expensive for would-be recruits in accessing this. One, Mr. Speaker, they need to buy a scratch card, have access to internet, have access to computer, and it is difficult, especially so, Mr. Speaker, when there are many areas in Ghana where internet access is a challenge. Mr. Speaker, what it is that once they log on, the system over a short period logs them out, even if they have connectivity problem. Mr. Speaker, I am saying this because in my own constituency, people are approaching people for money to be able to have access. This is just at the beginning. If we don't handle this well, Mr. Speaker, what it means is that the unemployed youth who are already desperate will end up spending so much money and will still not have access.
And the for minority leader Afenyo Markin and I was telling last week Thursday or complaining about the recruitment in the Akoto security service. Or say omoto voucher, sikabi omutia omkromuni adwuma ni ese musika and sembebre. In fact, he had issues with security service recruitment in the Akoto. No, and the Honorable Muntaka as was a member of parliament, and of course, Interior Minister Bediatuo Parliament was a share. Sansamona minority leader Afenyo Markin kokan last week who said and nina sabi tro. Na speaker I referred to the privileges committee no omechim substantiate allegation or kind the previous incident na me boma unya ho ntiase no was say omechim na otimu say MPP member of parliament ya no more parliament abusafo minority leadership no honorable Abib ship na as one interior minister Muntaka enyadwen na oni speaker so enya adwe hye no so say sasam na satam na honorable Muntaka eka sansem nyina se yen refer Afenyo Markin to the privileges committee no abusiafo na Afenyo Markin enya ma parliament enti onya ma parliament they say and my honorable Muntaka interior minister eko kind of parliament say yen refer my Afenyo Markin minority leader to the privileges committee any ho MPP so ejana na so that be one de Muntaka can omo nyadwen enti abusiafo speaker so bam enti yankode enkohwe ensemo a interior minister do to Gyamfi was say yen refer Afenyo Markin to the privileges committee.
1U, that is complaint of contempt of parliament or breach of parliamentary privileges, and also order 31 of the outstanding orders. Mr. Speaker, I must say that I have noticed with grave concern allegation made by the minority leader about the ongoing recruitment into the internal security agencies of this country. Mr. Speaker, this claim suggests that the ongoing recruitment exercise into the Ghana Police, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the Ghana Immigration Service have been tainted by scam and irregularities. Mr. Speaker, let me set the record straight that these allegations are entirely false, malicious, fabricated, and devoid of any factual basis whatsoever. They represent a calculated maneuver aimed at undermining a transparent, merit-driven process that the ministry has worked tirelessly to make fair, accountable, and transparent. Mr. Speaker, the past recruitment exercise, which typically involved the activation of the online portal to receive application, documentation, body selection, aptitude tests, and medical examination, have been fraught with noticeable challenges, particularly in the conduct of manual aptitude tests, which involves the application of classrooms, constitution of exams board, printing and transportation of exam question papers, and the risk of questions leakages, potential of a stampede, resorted enhancing the conduct of the entire recruitment processes, which included engaging the software developers to incorporate an online examination system in consultation with the various security services. The team put together a set standardized questions for applicants based on their application categories. In effect, every service submitted agency-specific questions to the questions bank from where questions were randomly populated for applicants. It is therefore untrue that the questions were AI-generated and did not have any bearing on the agencies in question. In this regard, applicants who encountered challenges with the online test were given an opportunity to retake the test at a later scheduled date. Mr. Speaker, the system, like any novelty in technology, is bound to face challenges. However, for the minority leader to conclude that the introduction of an online system has increased the financial burden on applicants is untrue. The system requires purchase of a one-time e-voucher to access the portal at all times. Mr. Speaker, the country, contrary to what the minority leader said, the online recruitment does not place a financial burden on the applicants. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Previously, applying to multiple services meant writing separate exams and paying for multiple medicals, plus traveling to Accra for those medicals. With this online system, you do the aptitude test once, medicals once, and this will be done in regional capitals across the country. Applicants actually save money and time compared to previous recruitment exercises. Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that in the past, recruitment processes were done individually by the security services. It is also interesting to note that in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2021, the very company that the minority leader was accusing Tróuble Limited undertook similar services for the Ghana Prison Service, Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana National Fire Service under the same business model implemented for the current 2025-2026 recruitment system. These processes, which were previously done in silos at the agency level, have now been harmonized and digitalized under the current system to achieve, among other objectives, the prevention of vacancy hijacking, reduction in recruitment operational costs, and empowering the agencies to own the recruitment portal after a scheduled number of cycles. Mr. Speaker, the approach for the ongoing security service recruitment was done based on the 2024 NDC manifesto and recommendation from the report of the review committee on the 2024 recruitment enlistment into the security services during the last administration. Mr. Speaker, the 2024 NDC manifesto and the security and public safety promise a merit-based, transparent, and decentralized recruitment and promotion for all security agencies. Report from the review committee also stated the following, Mr. Speaker, that the ministry must ensure that each agency under its supervision establishes a recruitment and enlistment board. The composition of such a board must include the Ministry of Interior, head of HR, or its representative. This is envisaged to strengthen the ministry's oversight responsibility. All the agencies under the ministry must ensure that their recruitment and enlistment procedures are well documented and strictly adhered to. Mr. Speaker, based on similar procurement conditions under which previous recruitment were conducted,
yes.
A restrictive...
Honorable Minister, yes, the whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the minister responsible for Interior on his feet said he was rising under Order 67 and 45 by Order 31 to bring a matter of privilege. Mr. Speaker, the minister is making a statement to respond to what he alleged to have been said by the minority leader. Mr. Speaker, if he is raising a matter of privilege under the orders that he quotes, he should do so, but he cannot use that to make a statement or address our house. It is against our rules, and for that matter, Mr. Speaker, you definitely need to let him come under the proper orders, and the order that he quoted, he should be able to limit himself to whatever he termed as contempt. But to use that to address at the house is not allowed. And Mr. Speaker, I think you should call the minister to order, because the minister is completely out of order.
Yes, Minister. May you continue.
Mr. Speaker, I was hoping that my colleague was going to refer to the relevant standing orders that I'm breaching. For you to call someone for contempt and be sent to privileges, you need to make a statement of facts to show that what the person did was really contemptuous before the person can be referred. And that's what I'm simply doing. Just to make, so if you say I've broken any of the rules, I'll be happy that you indicate to me which standing orders have I breached. Because I'm just making a statement of facts to show why the person in question be referred to the privileges. So, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, if a minister wants me to refer to specific orders, with the statement that he's making now, it is completely breaching Order 48 of our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, any statement, Order 48, Mr. Speaker, and if I will just refer you to Order 48, and I'll come to 3. Order 48 says that 3. An official report entitled Parliamentary Debate on otherwise referred to as Hansard, which contains the debate of each sitting of the House, shall be a nearly as possible verbatim. So if the minister is saying he's making any statement of fact that the minority leader have said, there is nothing before Parliament, which is our official report being approved by this House, that the minority leader actually says so. And the statement the minister is making cannot conclude to say it's a statement of facts. In this house, if we go through, that's why you went through when we started on the vote of proceedings, to be able to adopt that is actually what happened on Friday. And then the official report, if you check even order 48.5 says that the House shall correct and adopt the vote and proceedings and the official report of the House. So if there's no official report before us and the vote of proceedings have been passed, that has nothing to actually show what the minority leader said. The minister cannot make statement to that effect. So for that matter, he's in breach of order 48. There is nothing this House have approved to show that the minority leader have said what he has alleged for him to say. Until we adopt an official report, there is nothing official before Parliament, and his statement cannot be constituted to be true. The only truth we know in Parliament is these two documents, our official report and our vote and proceedings. And there's nothing like that.
Your argument until the official report is adopted by the House.
Mr. Speaker, that is what our procedures say. I didn't hear the minority leader saying anything. Mr. Speaker, Order 48 made it clear. And Mr. Speaker, that is why when you started sitting, you said, Mr. Speaker, 20th February 2026 official report, any correction. So you want us to adopt it and it become our own thing. And Order 48 3A says that whatever happened become verbatim. So if there is no report adopted about this House, you cannot allege to say that the minister, the minority leader said something when this House have not. I haven't heard him. On Friday I was in this chamber. I didn't hear him say what he said. I didn't hear anything. So until we adopt something, because you can say he will say something, he can get up and say he didn't say so. And until an official report, it is premature. His application is premature and he must be ruled out. The minister must be ruled out.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest humility, I've been in this House for 2 decades. I'm surprised at what the Deputy Whip is talking about. But Mr. Speaker, to continue, the minority unsubstantiated accusation of the entire process being a scam conveniently ignored the aforementioned facts and erode the goodwill and the public trust in indigenous local business. It further exploits genuine concern about the youth unemployment and access to the opportunity while offering correct, concrete evidence. Mr. Speaker, my commitment and that of His Excellency the President and this government remains unwavering to recruit only the most qualified, physically, mentally, and medically fit and morally upright Ghanaians into our security services. To the thousands of the applicants who have participated with integrity, your patience, discipline, and faith in the system are not in vain. The process will continue to its conclusion. Mr. Speaker, I therefore want to invoke Standing Orders 31 E, F, and H, and with your permission, I read the Standing Order 31. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 31 reads: any of the following acts or conduct constitute contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privileges. And Mr. Speaker, 31E precisely reads: any act or conduct calculated or intended to deceive Parliament or a committee of Parliament is contemptuous. The Speaker, F, also states: submission of false, perverted, misleading, distorted, and fabricated or scandalous statement in Parliament or before a committee of Parliament is contemptuous. On this, Mr. Speaker, I think that this is an opportunity to give the minority leader an opportunity with ample time to substantiate the allegation that he has made. And I therefore invoke Order 31 for the minority leader to be referred to the Privileges Committee to have his day so that we'll meet there for him to provide his fact. I thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Are you looking at your back?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this matter we don't need to subject it to any.
Enti say the medical dey atoja no. Enkomodi die ne hyase na Afenyo Markin enya ma parliament. Enti afedi Afenyo Markin ba parliament no say na most of them refer to the Privileges Committee for Boneben. allegations na more level against me maba mon kankyere me so Afenyo Markin demand say all parliament in kwade the omo person o ka che ne bi omo kankyere no ene majority leader Mahamadu Bawumia so bam and interior minister honorable Muntaka so bam
me on what exactly? I want to know what you want me to speak on.
There is an allegation of...
So I am here, let him repeat the allegation, I can respond. Because I've not heard anything. Mr. Speaker, if there is a pre-plan, you sit as the head of this. If you have something against me, I am sitting right here. Please, Mr. Speaker, I beg you.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders in Order 33-1, as quoted by Honorable Patrick Bawumia, says that a member may bring to the notice of the House any complaint of contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege at the time appointed for complaints of contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege if the member has previously notified the Speaker. In urgent circumstances, a member may, by leave of the Speaker, at a time other than the time appointed for complaint of contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege, raise a matter of contempt or breach. Mr. Speaker, I personally, together with the Honourable Member, did approach the Speaker to inform the Speaker that the minister intends to raise an issue of breach of privilege. Mr. Speaker, when we were in conclave, I gave advance notice to the deputy whip because the minority leader was not in the meeting. And I said I wanted the minority leader in the meeting. Then he said that he represented the minority leader and therefore he is capable of taking whatever message I had. So I gave him a message that the minister, honorable member, intends to make a complaint of breach of privilege against the minority leader relating to the events of Friday last week. And so I wanted him to serve notice to the minority leader so that he prepares to respond to the issues. Mr. Speaker, I don't think that any of the provisions of Order 33 have been violated. But and so the idea was that the minority leader should be in the chamber when the complaint is being made. So I do agree with him that given that he has come into the chamber later than the presentation of the complaint, if you indulge him and allow the minister the member for Asawasi to repeat in his presence the details of the complaints being made by the honorable member. The complaint has been lodged, yes, but the Speaker has asked the minority leader to say something in response. But in all fairness, he has not heard anything, even though it's not in the rules. It's clearly not in the rules. I agree that it is clearly not in the rules. But repeating the complaint does no harm. That's my view of the matter, that the minister should repeat the complaint in the presence of the minority leader. If we want to take a comment from him, then he must hear the complaint, or Mr. Speaker decides to summarize the complaint to him, because Speaker asked him to to speak. So the Speaker is asking him to speak, and he said, I haven't heard anything. So to what am I speaking? I think that is a fair position. So Mr. Speaker, I agree with him that we should repeat the details of the complaint, and then if he has an answer, let him answer it today.
Yes, Honorable Habib.
The current ongoing recruitment by the Ghana Immigration Services, Ghana Prison Service, Ghana National Fire Service, and the police. Mr. Speaker, the methodology has changed. What we have been told and have become aware is that, Mr. Speaker, the entire process is now centralized at the Ministry of Interior. A private software developer by name TróubleNet has been tasked to create a data collection platform which is empowered to run process through the use of AI-generated aptitude examination with minimal visible involvement of institutional leadership of the affected services. So, Mr. Speaker, to explain, this AI-generated platform being operated by the TróubleNet software developer does not involve the police, immigration, prisons, and fire. So, Mr. Speaker, what it is that a person who is supposed to do an aptitude test does not answer questions in the area where he's applying. There is a software which is a centralized platform. And Mr. Speaker, that is posing a difficulty, especially when none of the security chiefs and their management is involved. Mr. Speaker, let me give some numbers. What it is that, Mr. Speaker, it is becoming expensive for would-be recruits in accessing this. One, Mr. Speaker, they need to buy a scratch card, have access to internet, have access to computer, and it is difficult, especially so, Mr. Speaker, when there are many areas in Ghana where internet access is a challenge. Mr. Speaker, what it is that once they log on, the system over a short period logs them out, even if they have connectivity problem. Mr. Speaker, I am saying this because in my own constituency, people are approaching people for money to be able to have access. This is just at the beginning. If we don't handle this well, Mr. Speaker, what it means is that the unemployed youth who are already desperate will end up spending so much money and will still not have access.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.